So they oftentimes have oils in them, most of the time seed oils. Like if you flip over a thing of oat milk, it's basically seed oils and gums and gars and sweeteners. Guys, I was such a Karen this one time. We were at a theme park, and we went and got coffee first thing in the morning, and they handed me an oat milk latte, and I legit went like spit it back into the cup, and I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't rude. The guy was rude to me, but I wasn't rude about it. I was just like, I'm sorry, but this is this is oat milk. I'm certain it's not. I don't like it. Can you please make me one that has regular milk in it? And he was like, you ordered oat milk. And I was like, definitely did not. Yeah. So thank you. Okay.
Hey guys, so today's episode is sponsored by Baja Gold Co. It's one of my personal favorite salts, and Baja Gold is the world's most flavorful sea salt with naturally lower sodium and industry-leading macro and trace minerals to support daily performance. Welcome to Modern Ancestral Mamas. We are Corey and Christine, two millennial moms on a mission to bring ancestral wisdom to modern motherhood. Welcome back, guys.
Hi, everybody.
This is another Just Corey and I episode, and we are continuing our series. Actually, is this the final episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the final episode on What Can I Eat? This one is about drinks, though.
What can I drink?
So what can I drink? If you missed all of the previous ones, they will be in show notes, and they are what can I eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, dessert, and now drinks. So we've got you guys covered.
It's a long series.
I know it is. It is a lot. Hopefully it's giving you guys lots of ideas for what you can do with your family.
Yeah, what food to put on the table.
I know, what food or drinks to put on the table.
Yeah. Okay. So this one actually I think is really interesting. Somebody in the past couple of weeks specifically asked for a drinks episode.
Really?
Yeah. Which is super interesting because you and I are kind of like, is this even a full episode?
I know. We're like, this is going to be really fast because I don't know what there's to say.
Yeah, but there is stuff to say. So
there is.
We won't cut it off at 2 minutes. Okay, so let's start off the episode. It is now 1:00 my time, 12:00 your time. So we haven't had a full day yet under our belts, but what drinks have you or your kids consumed today? That's our opening question.
Yes. Raw milk and water.
Raw milk and water. Nice.
Yeah.
Raw milk for breakfast or just
raw
randomly?
Milk for breakfast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had we had cottage cheese for breakfast and also eggs. Egg in a hole. Egg in a what basket? Do you call it? Yeah, egg in a basket.
Yeah, we call it egg in a like in a piece of bread, you mean?
Yeah, like toad in a hole. We call it kind of like toad in a hole or whatever. I had some leftover bread we were traveling last week, and I made a sourdough sandwich loaf, and we had leftover bread, and so yeah, I'm trying to use that up because we know that those freshly milled grains do not last a long time.
I think they're oh yeah, you mean like it's going to get moldy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it molds so fast.
Yeah. I think sourdough less so than if you made just like a freshly milled yeast bread.
Oh, really? So you're saying sourdough freshly milled lasts longer than yeasted freshly milled?
In my experience, that's the case, yeah.
Oh, fascinating. I have not made a yeasted freshly milled bread yet. Yeah.
But they definitely don't last as long as like a commercial loaf of bread that can sit on the counter for a month.
Wait, guys. Okay. I know this has nothing to do with drinks. I'm so sorry that I'm bringing this up, but because you said that, I have to tell you this. So a month ago now. Yes, literally a month ago. I made, I'm just going to say FMF. Okay. Because that's faster, guys.
Fresh milled flour.
Yes. Okay. I made FMF burger buns, sourdough burger buns. They were delicious for a party, and there were like 40 people at the party. And I was worried that I was not going to have enough buns. So as a backup, I bought, and I'm going to call out the brand because I want you guys to know this. I bought Dave's Killer Bread burger buns. That's literally the cleanest that I can find at a grocery store.
Yeah.
Okay. They have not molded yet, and it has been a month. We did not need them. We did not open them. They are sitting in my pantry. They have still not molded. There's nothing on them.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is not a good sign. I'm never buying this again. Not even as a backup.
Wow. Ugh. Okay, well, for anybody who's wondering, we have an entire series on grains and baking bread, which is a fairly recent series. So you could go back and listen to all those episodes and learn all about freshly milled grains and sourdough and all the reasons to do those things. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, wait, but I should say what I'm drinking.
Yes, please.
I'm drinking water with Baja Gold's liquid ocean minerals. I can see it behind you.
I know. Don't you like my beautiful display of Baja Gold products?
I know, right? They're electrolytes because, we were traveling yesterday and I'm still feeling slightly dehydrated. So I am drinking their electrolytes, which do not have any sweetener in them. So if you are somebody who doesn't like the sweetener in electrolytes, because oftentimes they have stevia, and sometimes stevia just has a strange taste to it, then I like theirs because they just taste salty.
Yeah, but it's not even like unpleasant salty. Like you can. No. It's not like you're drinking ocean water.
Oh, yes, actually, because you're right. Somebody asked me about that online. They asked if it was similar to trace minerals because their kids did not like trace minerals drops. And I said, no, actually, they taste way better than trace minerals drops. Not to like bash trace minerals, but they actually do. And my kids have no problem drinking Baja Gold electrolyte.
So I, the other day made, or have been throughout the summer, but I did it the other day too, which just made me think of it, but made a hibiscus nettle tea infusion that we were drinking cold at the pool. And it was, we went to a pool, so not just at our house. So we were like away from the house.
Okay.
And needed a big thing of liquid to get us through, right? So I made this tea and added the mineral drops, and it didn't make the tea taste weird at all. So.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
That's good to know too.
Okay, so wait, let's talk about this. Because one of the things we wanted to talk about in this episode on drinks is that so many people will tell you, and I fell for this hard as a new mom, sorry, that water is the only thing anybody ever needs, right? Water, 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 water. And I will not say that water is bad. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just that like water itself is not actually hydrating, right? Yeah. So when you're just guzzling water, you get those giant jugs of water that women are carting around, and they're just guzzling just straight water. It's not actually even hydrating you.
Yeah.
You have to be adding these minerals like the ones that Baja sells. Or anybody else. I mean, we love Baja. We totally love Baja, but they are not the only option. Because that's what's actually hydrating to your cells.
Yes. Yeah, exactly like Corey said, you have to add minerals to your water. Otherwise, it's just not going to actually get into your cells and hydrate them properly. Oh, and the other thing is, guys, anybody out there, guys, ladies, whoever, reverse osmosis water without being remineralized is not a good idea. It is what is called hungry water. So it is water that will pull minerals from your body because it has no minerals in it. So if you happen to be drinking reverse osmosis water, make sure that you remineralize it. Otherwise, you will be stripping your body of minerals instead of adding more minerals to it. So
yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it? Like we are so obsessed with purifying our water that we go so far as to make it an unhealthy option.
I know. Yeah, we
It's
just don't even
kind
know.
of crazy to think like, man, especially with kids, you know, I do think one thing that's really interesting is the shift from when you and I were kids and everybody was just like drinking out of hoses and you know and water fountains, and like nobody brought water with them anywhere they went. Like you were just kind of thirsty all day. I don't know. I don't remember being thirsty all day, but I don't know. But you're like drinking out of those plastic hoses out in the sun.
Oh, for sure.
But like now everybody has a water bottle with them. Like you would never leave the house without a water bottle.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a thing.
Yeah. And they're like trendy. You get like the new color or whatever.
I know.
I do want to say one thing that is really interesting about that culture. We've gotten so into that, and I'm all for not having single-use plastic water bottles. Like totally nothing. Yes, let's get rid of that. But like, please be cleaning your water bottles properly. Like they are such a cesspool for mold and bacteria, like under the rubber rings and the straws and like if you've never cleaned one properly.
Oh my gosh.
It like gives me heebie-jeebies.
100% guilty of this. Ooh. I feel really bad. Yeah. One time I opened up my youngest water bottle, which shout out to Clean Canteen. I'm obsessed with this company. They make great water bottles, but opened it up and it was like so moldy and gross. I felt terrible. I felt so bad. I was like,
here, drink more water.
I know, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, child. Okay, I'm going to wash this immediately. And I'm washing this like every few days.
Same thing though goes for your countertop water filter systems or your any sort of water dispenser things that you have. Like, please clean those out. Like they get. This is terrible. I'm sorry, my mom will be. She probably won't be embarrassed because she doesn't really care much about what other people think. God bless her. But we had this water system when I was a kid that was like you just took one of those 5-gallon. Is that 5 gallons? You know the really big water jug?
Yes, totally.
And you just turned it upside down and it just dispensed it. Yeah. But it wasn't like a water cooler that you would get at an office. It was like a ceramic thing that just dispensed the water.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I remember drinking a big glass of it and just being like, oh, something tastes a little weird. And I went to put a new bottle of water on it, and there was like green slime on the inside of the ceramic dispenser part. And I was like,
okay.
I was like, we got to clean this.
Lesson. We need to clean water bottles. You need to clean water filters, all of those things.
Because you like think, okay, it's just water, right? Like you clean things with water. No.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, okay. Because you were talking about water with minerals earlier. And actually, I want to say something about this. There is this lake or natural spring, I guess, in Texas called Lake Mineral Wells. And they have started making, I don't know, maybe this is like 3 years old or something, but they make this water called Crazy water. And it is insanely mineralized. They have 3 different levels, maybe 4 different levels. And like one is kind of like mild. You can't really taste the minerals. The next one has a few more. And the 4th one, which is the one, they actually don't recommend that you drink a lot of it, but I love this one. It is super high in minerals, like so high in minerals that you can taste it as you're drinking it. Unfortunately, this water only comes in plastic. I wish it came in glass, but it's called Crazy water. And so if you're in the DFW Metroplex, you can totally find it. You can find it at natural grocers. Maybe, I don't know if they ship. I have no clue. But It's amazing. It's super mineralized water. And every time I drink it, I feel so good. And I've got one kid who suffers from, what's it called? Like altitude sickness, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Like when you travel to mountains or something.
Yeah. And I think that this water has been the solution. This is what keeps him from getting altitude sickness if he drinks it consistently before going and then when he arrives.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been anywhere where altitude sickness was a concern.
Never crossed my mind until I had a kid who had issues with it. And then it's like,
interesting.
Oh, some people are affected by the altitude. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
I know.
I didn't realize that it was some people are and some people aren't.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about like sports drinks, since we're already talking about minerals.
I know, right?
Like the amount of these sorts of drinks that I see kids drinking all the time is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
It truly is. And I'm not meaning like they're at soccer and they've been running around for 3 hours and they're dehydrated or they're trying to replenish or whatever. No, like just every day, like in your school lunch or something. Guys, like, okay, so the advice that I had said earlier about how kids only need water, right? Like that was the advice from pediatricians in the early or like mid 2000s. Mid 2000, like 2010 when I was first having babies, right? So that advice is really good for those sorts of situations when it's a flavored milk, when it's a juice, when it's a sports drink. Those sorts of drinks options are not offering your kids any additional nutrients that their bodies need. Now, I will say that Gatorade has the minerals, right? It does. I'll give it that. It also has ridiculous sugars and dyes and Lord knows what else.
Does Gatorade have the minerals?
I'm pretty sure it does. It does have some sort of electrolyte because you can taste it. It tastes minerally.
Oh, yeah, it does.
I mean, that's what it was made for in the beginning, right? And it still does have that, but it is not something, it's not the best option for that sort of thing, okay? If you're trying to rehydrate your kids, there are a million other options that are better than a flavored milk or a sports drink or a juice. Yeah. Certainly better than a soda.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, got that out of the way. What else?
Can we just, I would love to start a campaign to just ban juice. I am sorry that I'm so anti-juice, but I think it's ridiculous that we have juice boxes for children. I'm sorry. It is literally pure sugar. There is nothing nutritious about a juice box. I don't care what advertising is on the front of it. It's all bull crap, okay? It is straight sugar. And it's not necessary. It's not necessary. End of story. Like, oh, I get so triggered by juice. Anytime I see it, I'm like,
Wait, so now I want to ask you what you think about the whole juicing trend. It's like kind of, it's not new at this point, but like new, yeah. Celery juice, and because there are some people like GAPS has a whole thing where you're supposed to do, I think it's specifically celery juice, right?
I don't remember all the juices on it, but you're definitely juicing for sure.
Yeah, you're juicing. So like, what do you think?
Oh, funny stories about that. So I, as you both know, Corey and I are millennials. And so I was a child of, grew up in the 90s and 2000s. And my mom was very into juicing. At the time, she bought a super expensive high-tech juicing machine, and she would juice. And every morning, she would make us drink these juices. And it was, I don't know, carrot and apple and ginger, beet and apple and ginger. Who knows? Who knows what she came up with? I hated them. Hated them as a kid. I don't know.
You think it was like child intuition or just that they were gross?
I think that they were gross. But I think now I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't buy one personally if I don't know, if my mom were to make me one now and it's like beet, carrot, apple, ginger, I would totally drink it now.
I say that sounds delicious to me.
Yeah, it sounds really good to me. And I do think that they can be nourishing in some way.
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum because there's no fiber.
No, I know.
Which is kind of part of the appeal, apparently, is that the fiber is not, I don't know. I don't truly understand the argument for it because in my mind, the fiber is helpful.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a healing thing, then the argument is that it's not. Do you understand this better than I do? I have read the GAPS book, but it was a long time ago.
Same. I don't remember the nuances of why the GAPS diet also includes juicing in it.
Yeah.
I would have to go back and reread that part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know it off the top of my head. But if I'm talking about juices, I'm just talking about like the juice boxes.
No, I know.
That you see at a birthday party or something.
Yeah. No, I understood that nuance, but I just thought it would be interesting to talk about the juicing thing too, because that's a big deal, right? It's still a big deal.
Yeah.
You know? And
there's entire stores that sell those.
I heard somebody recently talking about healing cancer with juicing celery.
Yes, I know. There are many people that claim that I know somebody currently who is trying to do that.
Yeah.
With just juicing. I think because it's a detox, that's what it does. It detoxes the body. So if you are literally eliminating tons of other harmful foods that you have normally been eating, presuming you're on a standard American diet, and you are completely eliminating all of that and just eating real whole foods and lowering your calories, then yeah, I can see why that would help.
Okay.
Because I think it can be considered like maybe not like an actual fast but yeah, I know because I've seen people say, oh, I'm going on a juice fast. You know what I mean? Where they're only consuming juices.
Right. Because it's not adding fiber.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still sugar.
Exactly.
And the sugar without the fiber, and there's no fat to mitigate that sugar. I don't know.
That's why, I don't really understand
it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me as a whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
As like an every once in a while, like literally maybe once a year. Sure. Or like when you and I were in San Antonio,
mm-hmm. 2
years ago,
mm-hmm.
for the YWLS thing,
mm-hmm.
we went out to dinner with a bunch of people at that really cool restaurant, and they had juices, and I got one there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, it's kind of like a replacement for a cocktail almost.
Yeah. Yes.
So like in that regard,
it was like a mocktail.
Yeah.
A fancy mocktail.
Then cool. Like to me, better than alcohol.
Yeah.
Although maybe not, because it's still a bunch of sugar. So don't know.
I don't remember how they made it or which one you got.
I think I got something with beets because I really like beet. It was probably like carrot, beet, ginger.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I don't remember exactly, but that would be my guess is what I would have been drawn to.
We probably should have said this from the beginning. There's a really interesting Sally has a lot of thoughts on drinks in nourishing traditions.
Sally has a lot of thoughts.
In general.
That's okay. We do too. We have a freaking podcast.
I know. But she shares her theory about how the cravings we have for sodas and alcohol come from a deep memory of lacto-fermented beverages. And that basically, beverages in general are a hot topic, especially nowadays, because the industry has essentially capitalized on them. And we have coffee shops, and you have bars, and you have places where you can get sodas and tea and, smoothie shops and juice shops. Like, they're everywhere. So I think it's really interesting that there's an entire industry created for drinks, essentially.
Okay, I have a few thoughts on this. See, Sally has thoughts and I have thoughts.
Okay.
First of all, coffee shops are not new. This has been around since like the Victorian era.
Coffee shops existed in the Victorian era?
Yes. Also pubs.
Yes, that I know, obviously. That existed since before.
Right. So having social things around
beverages.
Sorry, wait a minute, not Victorian. I'm Regency era. Like Pride and Prejudice. Okay. Coffee shops were a thing way back. That's pre-Victorian. So that's 17-ish hundreds. Pubs, yes. So having a culture around drinks has been a thing. I think even before restaurants were a thing, Yeah. And there's always been, not always, but in semi-modern times, there's almost ubiquitously been culture around drinks, oftentimes alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And I just think it's interesting that it's yes, the industry has like super capitalized on it and it's exploded, but it's not necessarily all that new. Now, maybe in terms of like all of human history, sure. But we have been drinking not just water for pretty much all of human history.
Actually,
right?
Yeah, no, that's so true. Because you're right. I went back and watched the Tudor farms and all of those, and they weren't actually drinking water because the water was not sanitary.
Right.
So they were making ales and mead and beer, ginger beers and things like that to drink because that was actually safer for them than drinking the water.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back to when we were talking to Dr. Bill Schindler on his episode, we went into some of the history of alcohol, and he's like, yeah, it's basically the same. It aligns almost perfectly with the evolution of bread.
Yeah.
So it's basically for all of developed human history, we have had alcohol of some sort.
A drink. Yeah.
And like non-water drinks. So it's interesting to think about it in those terms, right? Like for most of human history, water was not even a thing that you were drinking. It just, because it wasn't clean.
Yeah, that's a good
point. You
point.
were using it to cook with and thus boiling it.
Yeah.
You were using it for your animals. You were using it to make, for washing. You were using it to make your alcohol or other fermented beverages, which to be totally fair, old school alcohol is not at all the same thing as new school alcohol.
No. Totally different.
So different. And the alcohol levels are so different.
Exactly.
But, I do think that that's an interesting thing to add to this conversation because we are, as a society, obsessed with water right now. And I don't necessarily think that that's the ancestral way of being.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point. And I actually, now that I'm reflecting on it, I agree with you. There were lots of drinks offered, and tonics and fermented beverages. And drinks can be nutrient dense. It's just the industrialized processed drinks that are available that are not the same as what our ancestors were consuming.
Yeah.
So what are some of the...
juice would not have been a thing.
I know. Yeah, totally. Can you...
Who would waste that much fruit? Like if fruit is a precious commodity that you're having to go out and pick, you're not going to make it into a juice.
Yeah. I mean, in the...
cider.
Yeah, cider in the Tudor farms. I'm trying to think. There was a particular fruit, I can't remember the name of it, that was native to England in that area that they would use for a fermented beverage. It was a short fermented beverage, and it was something that I would drink specifically after harvest. I can't remember.
Well, so like I know
it was like
there are specific. Okay. Well, there's some fruit, specifically like apples, maybe some plums or pears or something, that are so hard that you can't necessarily eat them.
Yeah.
But that you could process into a drink or something like that. So that might be part of the conversation there. Side note, love all of those BBC shows like Tudor Farm and Victorian Farm and Wartime Farm, and I love them so much.
We're going through them right now. They were recommended to me by a friend, and my kids have been obsessed. Like
they're so
beyond obsessed with them.
Yeah, really I watched them when I was a kid, and now I'm rewatching them, or maybe as a teenager, but now I'm rewatching them with my kids. And we're kind of trying to space them through our homeschool curriculum.
Yeah.
So they like line up with whatever we're doing. But they're so good.
I know.
Oh, so good. All right.
Wait, so I was going to ask you, what drinks can be nutrient dense?
Ooh, okay.
Let's see if
I feel like
name a few.
We could list a whole lot, actually. Yeah. Obviously, the top one's going to be raw milk, and maybe we should talk about that for a hot second. We have a whole episode on raw milk with Mark McAfee, who has done all this research, all this trying to figure out how to have safe raw milk, how to have safe milking practices and farming practices and bottling practices and all of this. And he has spent a lot of time educating people about raw milk. So you could go back and listen to that episode. You could go look at his website, which is rawmilkinstitute.com, I think. Let me double check.
His farm is...
raw.org. Sorry.
Raw Farms?
No, rawmilkinstitute.org.
Oh, okay. We'll put that in the show notes. So that's where you can get all of the research and data and information about raw milk. I do think one of the things people are really worried about, obviously, with raw milk is getting E. coli or something wild like that. And Listeria.
And I don't want to downplay it, because I do think that you should never do something that you're not comfortable with. And I think you should do your own research and figure out what's best for your family. But the likelihood that you would get sick off of spinach or cantaloupe or something like that is much higher. Lunch meat is much, much, much higher than the risk from raw milk. So take that with.
This is why it's important to know your farmer. Actually go and see their farm, look at their practices. How are they milking? What does the dairy barn look like? How clean is it? How are they cleaning the teats? Like everything. Yeah.
Their bottling practices.
Bottling practices too, yeah. How
fast are they cooling the milk? Like these are all factors in how safe the milk is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and we definitely have episodes on raw milk. So
yeah. And like the history of it is really interesting. So go back and listen to some of those other episodes so you can, figure out the history on that and figure out where your family is. If figuring out what to feed your family feels exactly like a never-ending to-do list, I get it. That is exactly why I created these 3 cookbooks just for you. One chicken, 5 meals shows you how to stretch a single bird into a week of nourishing, no-stress dinners. Nourishing junk food lets you create your favorites with using real food ingredients, no food dyes, no seed oils, and no other junk, just the flavors that you love. And in betweens, that's the secret weapon for snack time, lunch boxes, and all those what do I even feed them right now moments. All 3 are kid-friendly, mama approved, and made for real life. Get your copies today and turn your kitchen into a place that you actually enjoy. Go to fornutrientsake.com and use the code MAM15 for 15% off your order.
Hey mamas, do you want to add a new secret ingredient to your kitchen? Are you ready for this? Give Baja Gold sea salt a try today. We know our food is lacking minerals because of the depleted soil, so increase your mineral content of your food by using Baja Gold sea salt.
Baja Gold is an all-natural, unrefined sea salt from the Sea of Cortez. This salt is made the way it used to be, sun-dried with all of the ocean's minerals intact. No processing, no chemical flowing agents, nothing but pure, unrefined mineral salt.
And because of how and where they make their salt, Baja Gold is naturally lower in sodium and higher in minerals like magnesium and potassium. Moms, did you know that magnesium is a mineral used in over 300 bodily processes? Yeah, I know. We all know it is helpful for relaxing little bodies before bedtime.
Give Baja Gold a try today. Visit BajaGoldSaltCo.com to learn more. Check the show notes for the link and use the code MAM10 for 10% off.
That is MAM10 for 10% off.
Okay, so
aside from raw milk, what else?
Yeah, aside from raw milk, let's go with fermented beverages. So we've got kvass, which could be a beet kvass, could be like, you can use rye bread to make kvass, right? You can use, there's a bunch of other.
You know who's a fantastic resource for that? Were you going to say it?
Yeah, go ahead though.
Nourish Kitchen, Allison, which we've actually had her on. She makes lots of fermented foods and fermented beverages. And there's one particular, I think she says it's like native to Scotland maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fermented
oats
or buckwheat.
Yes.
Can't remember. Yeah, it's one of those. Or maybe millet. But it's a fermented grain drink. And she has tons
from Scotland,
of recipes.
I would assume it would be oats.
Oats or buckwheat, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has a lot of recipes on her website, which is Nourish Kitchen. And they have a really good podcast. We've had them on before.
Mm-hmm.
Beet kvass. I love beet kvass. Love beet kvass. It's so delicious.
Yeah. So beet kvass, milk kefir and water kefir. Those are both also fermented. So here's the cool thing about fermented beverages is it's just like eating sauerkraut or fermented pickles or yogurt or something like that. Like you're getting all of the probiotics from these beverages, just like you would in those other things. The other really cool thing is that fermented things, drinks, foods, they're going to have a different colony of bacterias in each thing. So a good idea is to kind of vary what you're drinking and eating, so you've got a huge range of probiotics and things that you're putting into your body that it's not the same thing every day.
Microbes, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what the difference is between water kefir and kombucha?
Okay. So kombucha is a fermented tea, and water kefir is a fermented. Essentially, it's fermented sugar in water. Okay, which is kind of similar to what kombucha is. So when you make water kefir, though, you don't have the caffeine that you have in kombucha. So kombucha has to be made with a caffeinated black tea for the SCOBY to eat from, because it needs the tannins in the tea to create the kombucha. And water kefir is literally made with the kefir or kefir grains. They're not actually grains; they're a SCOBY, but they look kind of like little bits of cauliflower. And sugar and water. And one thing that I like I like both of them. And I kind of have gone through spurts of like, now we're making kombucha for 2 years, and then now we're making, and you can do them both at the same time. I just kind of get on kicks about things. But the nice thing about doing water kefir is that it is a quick process. It's like from start to finish, maybe 5 days. Kombucha, on the other hand, is like start to finish probably 12 to 15 days. So you can make water kefir a lot faster. And it's a little less involved because you're not having to brew the tea and wait for the tea to cool so you don't burn your SCOBY, this kind of thing. But like I said, I do both. I like both. And I think that there's benefits to both as well.
It's my understanding, because I was having a conversation with somebody about this a few weeks ago, that the kombucha SCOBY is actually a mushroom. It's in the mushroom family.
Yeah, so that's what I've heard too.
So if you happen to be allergic to mushrooms, it could be that you're allergic to kombucha.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So SCOBY stands for, it's an acronym, stands for Symbiotic Culture of yeast and bacteria, or bacteria and yeast, sorry.
Oh.
BY.
Yeah.
SCOBY.
Okay.
And that is what you call that floaty alien looking thing that's in this kombucha. It's what you would call the little kefir grains, either for milk kefir or water kefir. There's other sorts of SCOBYs that you can use to make ferments.
We should clarify something. The kefir grains that you use to make milk kefir are different than the kefir grains that you use to make water kefir.
Yes, and they can be trained back and forth.
Yes, yeah.
You can't just take one and you can't take water kefir grains and add it to milk to make milk kefir grains.
Exactly.
But you can turn them into milk kefir grains.
Right.
I have never done that,
Same.
But I know it's possible.
I've never had success with it. I took milk kefir grains once to try to turn them into water kefir grains. I never made the water kefir, so I don't know if it worked, but supposedly you can do that.
So if you are interested in making a fermented beverage that requires a SCOBY, I would highly suggest first finding somebody locally who can just give you some of their SCOBY or grains. And then second, to buy a not freeze-dried or not dried version of those things. So I don't want to just say wet version, but it's usually like an alive version of those, of a SCOBY. Because
not one that you have to rehydrate.
Right. Not one that you have to rehydrate, because a lot of times the ones that you have to rehydrate are not going to reproduce. So one of the things that happens with SCOBYs is that every time you make a batch, they produce more of themselves, right? They are growing, they're producing new ones, which is why a lot of times if you know somebody who has a kombucha, if they brew kombucha or water kefir, they're like, please take some of my extra stuff, because like every single time you make it, you end up with a new SCOBY. And there's not much you can do with it. But if you use one that's been freeze-dried or dried or dehydrated, it's oftentimes that it will not reproduce at least in the same way. Yeah. So I suggest finding somebody. You can oftentimes buy them on Etsy. Or something like that. Okay, so then you also have Jun tea, which is Jun.
Yes, I was wondering if you're going to say that.
Is very similar to kombucha. It is made with green tea and honey instead of black tea and sugar.
Mm.
Okay. Then there's fermented sodas like root beer, ginger beer, sarsaparilla beer, all these different kinds. And then there's like fermented lemonades.
How do you make a fermented lemonade?
I mean, I think the way I would do it is probably take the like whey from making yogurt and add that to lemonade and then let it sit out on the counter for a little while, probably like a day or two. Have you made it before?
No, I haven't, but now I'm really intrigued by that.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. I've done it before, but I'm not sure that's the proper way to do it. Just like I tried it.
Another question for you is, what is a cordial?
Oh, like from Anne of Green Gables?
Yeah.
Like raspberry cordial?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know what the definition of cordial is. I think, so when I was in high school, I did this whole unit study for a full year. It was a literature-based study, and it was all based around Anne of Green Gables. And one of the things that I made was a raspberry cordial.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I remember, I mean, I was like 16, so that was a long time ago. But what I remember doing is that it was like a bunch of raspberries and some sugar, and you cooked it. And then I remember something about putting it out in the sun, but I don't know why you would do that. I don't know. So, and then you just like added sparkling water to it. That can't be right though. Like,
okay, I just looked it up. So, I was looking up the difference between a cordial and a vinegar. And apparently a cordial is a sweet alcoholic beverage, kind of like a liqueur, mixed with water to make a refreshing drink. Vinegar, on the other hand, is a sour liquid and used for preserving food, blah, blah, blah. So vinegars are sour and acidic, and cordials are sweet.
Diana was not supposed to get drunk on the raspberry cordial. She drank the blackcurrant wine and not the raspberry cordial, which is why Anne got in trouble.
Exactly. Maybe the alcohol level in a cordial is much lower, and it sounds like what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to mix it. You're supposed to
water it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
With sparkling water.
To water it down.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. And I remember just tasting like watered down smushed raspberries. And I was like, what's the deal?
Yeah. Why is this? Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Well, because I had a friend tell me recently that she was like, oh, I really want to make a cordial. Can we make one? And I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. I really feel like raspberry cordial is my only point of reference on this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I know. Well, okay. Gosh, man, now here we are saying that there's not much you can say about drinks, but there is actually a lot you can say about drinks, because I'm trying to think what the account's name is. It's not a very easy account, but she's like an herbalist master. And she has tons of recipes for like teas and tonics and just like drinks that you can make with herbs.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. So last year, she talked about one that you do in the springtime, which is supposed to help detox, with cleavers, which I believe is sticky grass.
I don't know what that means. Okay. Like the stuff that when you go hiking, it just sticks to you? Like
Yes.
Cleavers?
So cleavers only comes out in the spring for a short period of time. And depending on where you live, I don't know where it comes out, what time of year it comes out for, other people. But here in Texas, for us, it came out in like March and April. And my mom's backyard is covered in cleavers. And so we would take cleavers, and you're supposed to also do it with nettles, and you blend it together with water, and then let it, like, I don't know if the correct word is steep, but sit in the fridge for like a day. And then you drink it, and it's supposed to be very, very good for the liver.
Okay.
And this is like detoxifying. And the whole point of why I'm bringing this up is there are so many things that you can do with the flowers and the plants in your backyard.
Yeah.
like this.
Our friend came over the other day, and we have a big mimosa tree that hangs over our pool. You know, a mimosa tree with like the pink.
Mimosa tree?
Mm-hmm.
What
They
is
have
that?
pink. They have pink flowers that are kind of. They look almost hairy. Like the petals are just very, very thin, and they're really pretty. But you can make a tonic or a tea with them, and apparently it's really helpful for stress and for sleep. And it's like a native, I think it's native to the United States, and it's like kind of like what you would use with chamomile tea. Really, really good for that sort of sleep. And so he just came over. He was like, "Do you mind if I just pick some of those flowers?"
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, "Absolutely not. Do you need a bag?" Like, yeah, that kind of stuff that herbalism stuff is fascinating to me. I don't feel like I know a lot about it, but I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah. I know. I want to be able to use more of what I have in my garden, which currently is just insane amounts of oregano and basil and roses.
Yeah, my garden. Okay, you guys, it is July, and it is. I've come to realize that it is just basically too hot in the summer to really grow anything where I live.
Yeah,
everything's dying.
Yeah, growing seasons are not good for southern states in July and August.
No. Yeah. No, my daughter and I were just talking about that. We're like, maybe we should shift to trying to grow things in the fall and in the spring rather than in the summer.
Yeah.
Kind of do what Florida does.
Totally.
Okay, I want you to talk about your raw liver tonic.
I mean, I love that you say mine, but really
it's because I don't drink it because okay, here's the problem, right? Like I don't mind a Bloody Mary, which is supposedly what it tastes like, right?
Yeah.
But I am so intimidated by it that I'm like, have not ever gotten myself to make one. I'm like, I just need to go over to your house and have you make it for me. And then I can be like, okay, cool. This is good, you know?
Yeah.
But to make it myself, I feel intimidated by this. So explain more, talk more.
Okay. It is in the back of the Nourishing Traditions book. So if you have that, you can look it up there. It's under, I think it's called Pottinger's Tonic, maybe. And that's a whole very interesting story. Go read about Pottinger's cats. A lot to say on that topic, but we're not going to do that right now. But basically, it is tomato juice, or you can do it with orange juice, which I've never done it with orange juice before. But
what?
I know.
That one sounds too weird.
Totally. For me, it's like, I don't know if I would mix liver with orange juice, but okay.
It sounds like putting Cheerios in orange juice. Like, no. No. Have you ever heard of people putting cereal in orange juice? Like you're out of milk, so you're like, we'll just use orange juice. No.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Tomato juice.
Okay. So tomato juice. Then I think this is the most important thing. You have to grate it. You have to grate the liver. It's raw liver. You can use beef liver. I think some people would be freaked out about chicken liver. I have used chicken liver before and had no problems. So either raw beef liver, lamb's liver, chicken liver, whatever. I wouldn't use pork liver personally, but chicken, beef, lamb. And you cannot blend it. If you blend liver into anything, you will be able to taste it. I know that there's people that they say they put liver in smoothies, but I disagree with that. You will definitely be able to taste it. The trick is to microplane it. So if you have a microplane, just like, or a grater, whatever, the finest little thing, knife setting, grate it, then add lime juice, salt.
You have to grate it frozen, right?
Yeah, grate it frozen. It's much easier to grate it frozen. Don't do it raw or defrosted, guys, obviously. It's quite a workout. Trying to think. Lime juice, pickle juice. You can add whey if you want. Tabasco, sparkling water. I'm trying to think what else.
Vodka.
No, I've never added vodka to it. But definitely I like mine with a lot of Tabasco and a lot of pickle juice.
Well, yeah, really okay. I could see that covering it then, because that's a lot of flavor.
Yeah, it's good. Eat it with some bacon on the side. I think it's delicious.
Did you think it was delicious when you first tried it? Think back.
I know. I'm trying to. Yes, actually, I did. The first time I ever tried it was at Janine's house, and she made it for me. I must have just been starved for nutrients. But yeah.
And you drink it like once a week, right?
Yeah. In the summertime. In the winter, we switched to broth, and I don't drink that in the winter just because it's like cold and you don't like it as much. But yeah, in the summertime, I like to drink it once a month, once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah.
Cool.
Feels refreshing.
Okay, there is a book. I meant to say this back when we were talking about the kombucha, but there's a book called Making Soda at Home by Jeremy Butler. And it is a book that I will recommend every single time I talk about drinks because it has all of the recipes for making syrups for an herbal cola or a Dr. Pepper or a root beer or whatever. You can make it with herbs and fruits and spices and things like that. And then you can use it to flavor. You can either add it to just sparkling water, or you can, what our family likes to do is to use it to flavor kombucha or water kefir so that you get basically like a soda flavor, but also with the benefits of the kombucha. Okay, I think we're going to have to talk about hot beverages. So we touched on coffee in our breakfast episode, so I don't necessarily feel like we have to talk about that all that much, aside from saying that it is important to choose a coffee that is mold free and tested to be mold free. And if you're going to drink decaf, get one that is a sugar. What is it called? There's like a special process, like cold processed or something like that. Swiss processed. I can't remember, but look it up there. Maybe I'll look it up right now, but it is really important to get it that way because otherwise decaf is a very harsh process. Making coffee decaf is a really harsh process that will make the coffee like even less healthy.
Oh, I had no idea. Interesting. But I guess that makes sense because they have to strip the caffeine from it.
Yeah.
That never occurred to me. I think if you've been listening for a while,
Swiss
you know.
water decaf. Yeah, you don't drink.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, but you do drink matcha.
I love matcha.
And I think matcha is great. I used to think it was gross, but I think that's just because I had it only at Starbucks or something.
Oh, yeah, for sure. On one of my, one time that I was scrolling, I found that there's a place in Dallas with a Japanese woman who does matcha tastings. And she brings them straight from Japan and she teaches you how to make a proper matcha and the different. Oh yeah. I like totally signed up. I was like, please, I want to do this. This sounds so cool. I haven't been yet. She's in Japan right now. You like send her a DM on Instagram and she responded and was like, I'm in Japan right now. When I'm back, I'll book all of the tastings. I'm very excited.
Oh my gosh. How cool.
I know. I can't.
You have to report back and tell us how that was.
Yeah. I need to find somebody to go with me. So.
I want to go. Dang it.
I know.
Okay, so hot beverages. What are some hot beverages that are options?
I mean, I think the most obvious one is broth.
Why? Why would you say that, Christine?
Well, because it's the most nutrient dense.
Yeah, say more.
I think broth is the most obvious nutrient dense choice. So if you're going to drink a hot beverage, I guess most people would say tea or coffee. I didn't think about that.
No, but explain why broth is so wonderful.
Broth is fantastic because it helps to heal and seal the gut lining in your body. And it has minerals in it. It has a lot of protein in it. I mean, it is like so good for the body, for repairing tissue, repairing cells. Fantastic.
Good for your skin, your nails, your
hair,
bones.
Skin, nails, has collagen. I mean, yes. Yeah. Gelatin, all the things. Broth is very good.
Your joints, really good for your joints.
Mm-hmm.
Especially good for kids who are doing sports that are really rough on their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
My brother had a really bad arm injury break from playing baseball when he was a young teenager. And my mom made him drink bone broth like every day after he broke it. And I think she also was giving him like collagen and gelatin in other forms too. And his orthopedic was like, this kid's arm has healed so much faster than other kids that I've seen with similar injuries. So
that's interesting.
Totally anecdotal, but interesting regardless.
That's great.
Okay. So we've got bone broth. We've got, let me just side note, add so much salt to the bone broth because otherwise it tastes like dishwater.
Yes.
So gross. But if it tastes gross, add more salt. It'll taste good.
Yeah.
We're going to bust through this. So my kids really love tea. Vanilla tea is one thing. Like we just take a sleepy time sort of tea, like a chamomile sort of tea, and add milk and a little bit of honey and a little bit of vanilla, and we call it a tea latte. And they love drinking that at night. In the summer, they'll drink it iced. In the winter, they'll drink it hot. Golden milk, which is with turmeric. That's really great. Any sort of other herbal tea.
Chocolate milk?
Chocolate
milk. Hot chocolate.
Oh, yeah. Well, we forgot to say chocolate milk when we were talking about it earlier. But yeah, hot chocolate.
Yeah. I love hot chocolate.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll sometimes add egg yolk to hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And like extra fat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like we've covered drinks. What do you think? Oh, we never talked about, we talked a little bit about alcohol.
I think we need to have an entire episode on alcohol personally.
Okay, fair.
But in fact, if you guys have any suggestions for what you want to hear us say about alcohol, or if there's anybody in particular you want us to interview about alcohol, drop us a comment in the comment section of the podcast, or
on YouTube or on Instagram.
Yeah, I was about to say, or leave us a DM.
Yeah, you can comment on the reels that we'll post.
Oh yeah.
Or you could comment, just like send us a DM, or comment on the whole video that'll be on YouTube.
Alcohol's definitely been on our list of things we want to talk about for sure.
Yeah.
We just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I know. Our list of episodes keeps growing.
Yeah.
I feel like when we started this podcast, I was like, we got to come up with at least 10 ideas before we start recording. And now it's just like we keep adding to the list and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're like, we're never going to get to all these topics.
Yeah.
Good problem to have.
For sure.
All right.
Wait, can I read?
Yes.
Can I read a comment?
Please.
We got a 5-star review from Quinny. It says, I feel so feminine listening. These are so great and calming. And I love, all caps, the episodes with Mary Reddick. I love learning about traditional ways, and you ladies are such a wonderful way to be informed. It's very sweet. Thank you.
We love Mary too. She's just an absolute queen.
Yes. Oh yeah. Totally. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we want to say about drinks before we wrap up.
I just want to say, we started the episode with this, but don't be afraid to move outside the water bubble, right? There's a lot of other options. We didn't even talk about nut milks and stuff. There's a whole rabbit hole of that.
Oh, wow. You're so right. We didn't just talk about nut milks at all.
Okay. Can we just really quickly say a lot of times the nut milks and the oat milks, God help us with the oat milk.
Oh yes, please,
are full of gars, gums, sweeteners, gels, all these things to make them the same consistency as milk. This is the same sort of thing that happens with trying to make gluten-free anything taste like gluten. They're trying to make these things taste like milk, and they have to add all this other stuff to do that. So they oftentimes have oils in them, most of the time seed oils. If you flip over a thing of oat milk, It's basically seed oils and gums and gars and sweeteners. Guys, I was such a Karen this one time. We were at a theme park, and we went and got coffee first thing in the morning, and they handed me an oat milk latte, and I legit went like spit it back into the cup, and I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't rude. The guy was rude to me, but I wasn't rude about it. I was just like, I'm sorry, but this is oat milk. I'm certain it's not, I don't like it. Can you please make me one that has regular milk in it? And he was like, you ordered oat milk. And I was like, definitely did not. Yeah. So thank you. Okay.
Wait.
It's gross.
It's so gross. Actually, and I mean, those are so processed. It's so processed to make oat milk. It's insane. But oftentimes, I haven't been to a coffee shop in a while, but oftentimes I will bring my own raw milk to a coffee shop in a mason jar, and I will tell them, can you make my matcha with this milk? And you can put it in the same jar. I haven't had any problems yet. So
100% have done that a lot.
Yeah. So
we have a milk pickup at a coffee shop, and there was for a while I would just like get my milk from the farmer in the parking lot and go inside and be like, smart. Can you make my coffee with this?
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah. So, all right. That is all we have for today, you guys. We're wrapping up. We really, really appreciate you listening to this series. It's been fun to re-record it, to come back and hit these topics again. And I really hope that they have been helpful to you guys, enlightening, encouraging. Please remember to use our affiliate codes, because that helps the show. That's a free way to sponsor the show. Yeah. Yes. And also leaving reviews and sharing with your friends and leaving comments, and all of those things are so helpful to growing the show, to making sure that we're getting out to people who need to hear us. And we're so thankful for you guys. We're so thankful for our audience and what you guys are helping us to do. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting, all of those things. All right, let me do you can find us. So Christine is at, I always like point because it for some reason helps my brain. Okay, so Christine's at Nurse the Littles on Instagram. I am at For Nutrient's Sake. The show is at Modern Ancestral Mamas. You can find the show on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, probably other places where you get podcasts too. And that's it. Those are the things I always have to remember to say. Okay. Thank you guys for listening. See you later. Bye.
Bye.